You ever wonder why some wholesalers get better deals and higher profits? What if I told you the secret lies in their negotiation skills? In this video, we're going to unlock those secrets to show you how they get those good deals. Do you find yourself struggling to negotiate the prices that leave a healthy profit for you? But you're managing to get properties. However, when it comes time to sell them, you're not making the money ideally you would like to make. Well, that's a common challenge, and it's extremely frustrating. Well, if you can't nail down negotiations, what's going to happen? You're going to find yourself not making the money you should be making, stalling out your business because you're not getting the profits to grow, and maybe even causing frustration to give up because you're spending more in marketing than you actually have coming in. Now, let's flip the script. You should be going into these transactions not only with getting a good price, but also getting a good price leads to maximizing the exit strategies you have for these properties. Now, what does that do for you as a wholesaler? Well, you're able to move these properties a lot faster than normal and build your reputation of having great deals. All right, most important things. Know your market. What does that mean? You need to know the data of your market that you're in. So, for example, if you're negotiating with a seller and you know the property is worth $140,000, you need to know that, well, my cash buyer is going to be at $80,000 for this property for it to make sense, because the property needs about $30,000 in work. Well, if he needs to be at 80 for me to make a decent profit, I need to get this at $65,000 to walk away with $15,000. So that is step number one, and probably like the most important one, because knowing those numbers will help you out with the negotiation. If you don't know those numbers, well, your negotiations are not going to be that good. So what I want you to do at this point, man, just listen. Pay attention to that pinned comment in the comment section, man, and get my 10-step cheat sheet on how to wholesale houses. I'm breaking down the whole process in 10 steps. And guess what? I'm going to give it to you for free. So click on that and make sure you grab it, man. Number 2, build rapport. Well, people actually do business with people that they like. Everybody's not driven by money and finances. So you want to build that connection. What is that connection? Let's say you're talking on the phone. You're doing all your negotiations on the phone. And let's say that they are in Kansas City, Missouri. You say, hey, are you into sports? Do you watch sports? And they say, yeah, I do watch sports. Well, man, that Kansas City Chiefs team sure has a dynasty on their hands with that Patrick Mahomes. And then what you want to do, you want to be quiet. You want to see how they react to that, right? Oh, yeah, man. Oh, I love the KC. Oh, man, I've been a fan since I was 12. I love them. My father used to take me to the games, or my mother used to take me to the games. You want to listen out to things. And then what you want to do is you want to talk to them, right? And what I mean by talk to them, you want to talk to them about that, you don't want to go into a whole 30-minute tangent, but you want to just find common ground. So, for example, right, when I walk into a house, if I walk into a house and if I see that they served in the military, I'm going to start talking to them about the military. And I never served. But what I'm going to say is, yo, you were in the services? Oh, man, thank you for my grandfather, he fought in World War II. He did this. He was in the service. Remember, my uncle, he was in the Army as well. He did this. He did that. And then we found common ground, right? And from us finding common ground, what we do from there is we move on, right? The next part of the negotiation, right? You just don't want to jump into numbers, right? That's ideally not how you want to start. Remember, people do business with people that they like and they trust. So you want to build that likeness, and ideally, hopefully, they trust you as well. All right, so this is something I like to do. I like to use the first offer strategy. What does that mean, use the first offer strategy? Well, basically, I like to make my offer first. However, I like to make it low but realistic, okay? Low but realistic. Once I make my offer, I shut up. I don't say anything else. I let them talk. If it takes them 8 minutes to get a word out, I'm going to shut up for 8 minutes. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let them respond because I want to hear them out. Remember, As a wholesaler or a real estate investor, the majority of deals you're not going to buy. We make great income off of a small percentage of the market. We're not going after the majority. So it's totally normal for people to reject your offer. So don't get offended. Just move on to the next seller. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Now, let's say that the property is worth $150,000. I know my cash buyer needs to buy it for $80,000. I want to make $15,000 off. What I want to do is I'm going to start off at $60,000, right? The reason why I'm going to start off at $60,000 is because that gives me a $20,000 cushion for negotiations, right? Remember, my cash buyer needs to be at $80,000. What does that mean? All right, so the seller might say $60,000. No. I was at least at 75, at least. All right, okay, Mr. Seller. Okay, hold on, Mr. Seller. Let me place you on hold and talk to my partner and see if we can make this work, right? So I'm playing with the numbers, etc. Remember, my cash buyer needs to be at 80. So I say, hey, Mr. Seller, what if I can make 70,000 work? Would you sign the contract? Yeah, I'll sign it for 70. I can do 70. I can live with 70. We sign it for 70. Boom. Now I sell it for what? I'm selling it for $80,000, right? That gives me a $10,000 spread right then and there. Okay? Yeah, I wanted to make 15, but I made 10. 10 is not a bad day. That's how I like to do my negotiation when we get to the numbers aspect of it. Now, of course, there are going to be some people who say, oh, absolutely not. My property's worth $150,000. I want 120, and there's no room for anybody to make money, so you just walk away from that. You don't get it under contract and say, oh, I'm just going to try. Absolutely not. The numbers are the numbers. Number 4. All right. So the power of because. People are more likely to respond to your number in a positive manner if you can say, you came up with this number because. All right. So what does this mean? Now, I know that some investors are scared to tell a seller how much their property is worth. With me, I'm a little bit different. I don't mind telling you how much your property is worth. The reason being because from the start of our conversation, when I introduce yourself, I let you know I am a real estate investor. I buy and sell houses to make money. Or you could say I buy and sell houses for a profit. Either way, you know I'm there to make money. So, Mr. Seller, the reason why I came up with your offer, because some sellers are going to ask, why did you offer me this? Well, let me explain. The reason why I came up with this offer is because the property is worth $150,000. I got to put $30,000 into it. Now that brings me down to $120. All right, I got to put $30,000 into it. I got to have closing costs. All right. So let's say my closing costs are $5,000. Now I'm at $115,000. Well, guess what? Also, I'm going to have 6% realtor commissions on that $150,000. All right. I'm looking at somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000, I believe, on that. And you guys can correct me. I'm not the best math guy. So let's say it's $7,000 just for this example. Now we're down to $108, Mr. Seller, with the $7,000 with the realtor commissions. Okay, now, Mr. Seller, with all these things taken out, right, I got to make a profit. And not only I got to make a profit, the person putting up the money, they're charging me for the money. I don't get to use their money for free, so I got to pay for their money. So that's another $4,000. Now we're down to $104, okay? Now that space we have, that's my actual profit that I got from making after 3 to 4 months of work. And that's just how the investment game works, Mr. Seller. You can't be afraid to explain to a seller how the investment games work. There's plenty of times where I had to go and say, hey, listen, if you sell this on the MLS, chances are that the person's not going to qualify for a loan due to the amount of work it needs. All right. So because if they found water in the crawl space, mold in the crawl space, the loan is going to be canceled. Or if any major defects in the house, which a majority of the time we're dealing with houses with major defects, it's just not going to qualify for a livable house. So, Mr. Seller, this is what I can do. This is what it's costing me, and this is what I need to make. They might say, well, listen, I can't do the 65 number, but I can live with the 75 number. Well, I'm still walking away with 5,000. Ideally, I want to make away with 10, etc. You know what I mean? But I explained to them, you know what I mean, to try to get the best deal possible. I know I mentioned this. Number 5 should have been number 1 to me. However, silence. Some of y'all just talk too much, okay? Whenever making the offer, right? Whenever you make your final offer, after going through all the techniques, whenever you make your final offer, just shut up. Don't talk them into anything, okay? Let them make the best decision for them. because you don't want a seller having remorse the next day and say, oh man, you know, I could have got more, etc. You want them to make the decision when it comes to the price. So just shut up, all right? Silence is key. Silence is golden. You don't need to talk all the time. I learned this from working in the call center. So what I want you to do at this point, man, just listen. Pay attention to that pinned comment in the comment section, man, and get my 10-step cheat sheet on how to wholesale houses. I'm breaking down the whole process in 10 steps. And guess what? I'm going to give it to you for free. So click on that and make sure you grab it, man. Hey, I'll see you in the next vid. Peace.